Denny's calls themselves America's Diner.
What are you talking about? Everybody likes Denny's. It's an American institution.
And well, today, we're gonna put that to the test. Let me, Jeff, take you on a tour all across America to different Denny's and read some one-star reviews for you. I promise it'll be funny, exciting, and confusing, so if you like that, hit that like button and let's just get into those reviews. Shout out to Kitty Has Fangs 2291 for the diner suggestion, which led me to the Denny's. If you want to see one of your suggestions done by me, make sure you leave it in the comments down below. Alright, now into the reviews. For our first stop, we're going to head to the Midwest to Gretna, Nebraska. This Denny's has a 4.0 rating on 2,704 reviews. This Denny's is in like a truck stop combined with a Flying J gas station. Gretna's population in the 2020 census was 5,083 people, but the estimated population today is over 10,000 people, so it's growing fast. A super fast fun fact is that the name Gretna is named after Scotland's Gretna Green. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some Denny's reviews. We'll get our Denny's dining experience started with Vlad. I ordered online twice, and both times I had to wait very long after the estimated pickup time. In the end, they brought out something other than what I ordered. I returned it to them, and I'm waiting for my order again. I've been trying to get it for an hour now. They're making fun of me. I feel like most of us have been in Vlad's shoes in part 1 there, where you put in a pickup order, you go to pick it up, and it just isn't ready yet. But I've never been made fun of when I've gone to pick up an order. At least I've never noticed anyone making fun of me. Let's move on and read what happened to Lambert. Don't eat here. They will rip you off on their meals. Had an egg and cheese omelet that came with hash browns and 2 pancakes. They charged me over $15 for the meal plus $0.50 extra for eggs. The only way this is a rip-off is if the prices on the menu don't match what you had to pay in the end, right? I understand if it's more expensive than you wanted to pay, but you look at the prices when you order. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that the next review comes from Kay. I ordered Build Your Own Grand Slam. I ordered 2 sausage, 2 bacon, 2 eggs, 1 ham, times 2. Needless to say, what was on my plate did not match my order. I do not recommend this place. Furthermore, my eggs were overcooked. Once again, I do not recommend this place. Second plate had overcooked eggs. I still don't recommend this place. Imagine meeting this K person and being like, hey, where's a good place to get breakfast? Their eyes probably just widen up and they look at you like, oh, I have a story about where not to get breakfast. Alright, let's read what happened to Nick. Just hope your manager isn't Jessica. She is rude.
How rude.
I ended up seating an older couple. The sir is a Vietnam veteran. They were standing for 29 minutes waiting. I sat them, got them coffee, and kept refilling their coffee until Jessica finally came from the back, flipped on me, snatched the pot, spilling some on me, and didn't even finish filling up the couple's coffee. I ended up doing it again. This is one of those reviews where I need your guys' help. You think Nick should have seated this couple and given them coffee or just kept his nose out of it? But my favorite part is that they were standing there for exactly 29 minutes. I'm glad he had his stopwatch going. Let's see how Denny's treated Jasmine. Ordered a medium sirloin steak, got a well done piece of dog meat for $31. The mozzarella sticks were better. I don't know why I expected better from a Denny's at a truck stop. Looks like Jasmine came to her senses with that last sentence there. I'm not sure what they were expecting either. The next review comes from the most interesting way to spell charity. Ordered the prime rib Cobb salad. Prime rib was cold, lettuce was brown in parts to mushy underneath, avocados were brown over topped, and no bacon was added. Waitress was fine, and asked how the food was. I said mine was poor. She asked what was wrong with it. I didn't explain too much, not really worth it, but the manager did check us out and didn't say anything. Overall, the place was fine. Just be careful what you order. I had food poisoning when I got home. Overall, everything was fine, but they ended up with food poisoning. I would have led this off with, we had food poisoning after eating here, so be careful what you order or please avoid eating here. That was just wild to read. And let's head to the next Denny's. Hey, Jeff here. Just popping in to say if you've made it this far, consider subscribing to join the Jeff Freaks. Alright, back to the reviews. For our next Denny stop, we're going to Haw River, North Carolina. This is another combo Denny's and Flying J, but it's a gas station, not a truck stop, so the Denny's is quite a bit smaller and older looking. And it has a 3.2 rating on 2,723 reviews. Haw River's a very small town with a population of 2,252 people. Your quick fun fact about this small town is that Robert W. Scott, who was the 67th governor of North Carolina from 1969, nice, to 1973, was born here. So with all that in mind, let's go read some Denny's reviews. Let's get Haw River started with Tim. Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Vietnam!
If you follow me and read my posts, you know I'm a truck driver. I'm here at Flying J in Haw River, close to Mebane, Burlington, NC. I'm taking my 30 for a reset. There's a Wendy's across the at Pilot. There's not much to choose from at these truck stops for vegetarians. I wanted something different than my usual salad or bean. I chose Denny's. Let's stay. That's $15.33 I just lost. The toast had too much butter. I was very disappointed because I was hungry. I'm like, how can you mess eggs and hash browns up? I had a plate grease, never again. Remember, drivers stay safe and we move the world. Hello, Tim, the vegetarian truck driver that writes a lot of posts on Google reviews. Thank you for your roller coaster ride of confusion through that because it was a bit all over the place. But hey, at least we know these meals are around $15. Not a ripoff. It's a ripoff. What isn't a ripoff is reading Sid's review. Place is a joke. I'm always in the truck stop between 6 to 6:30 a.m. Restaurant is never open on time. Rude server rushes you out the door saying they're not open yet, but I'm always there after their opening hour. Couple of things after reading that review. The first thing is it sounds like the hours that are posted on the outside of this Denny's doesn't match the actual hours they're open. And two, how many times has Sid tried this and been kicked out? I think probably over 5? The next review from John comes with a photo. This is pathetic. Nowhere near as much meat as the menu photos. 1 piece of ham and no turkey. It's supposed to be the Cali Club, and I waited almost 30 minutes for this. Never eat here again. I'll enlarge the photo so we can get a better look at it, and yep, that is a terrible looking sandwich. It's like 1 real thin piece of meat, maybe a thin piece of cheese and some lettuce. The fries look yummy. Let's read what happened to Nicole here in Haw River. This place sucks. I mean, it's so bad. We waited over 30 minutes for our food when there were only 2 other tables. I ordered over medium eggs and they came out like rubber. Hash browns are cold and slimy. Terrible service. We got up to walk out because we had been waiting so long. Then they decided to bring our food. My advice? Go to Waffle House. This place is gross. Alright, I have another question for you Jeff freaks out there. How long would you guys wait at a Denny's before walking out? I feel like 30 minutes isn't that long, but maybe it is long enough if you've asked your waiter or waitress if the food was still coming. If they already told you 2 times, yeah, it's still on the way, I'd probably be like, maybe we should just go somewhere else. But for the meantime, let's go to the next review. And that review's from Jerry.
Oh, no way! Jerry!
Now this, photo shown on screen now, is $21 worth of turkey. This is a joke. And mashed potatoes. I got plenty of fries. Well, Jerry definitely wasn't lying about having plenty of fries, and those fries look different than the fries from the other picture we saw from the other Denny's. But the rest of the food, that turkey and mashed potatoes, looks disgusting. We'll sanitize our eyes with a photo-less review from Jason. Worst service ever. I asked for the waiter to give me a minute to look at the menu. He didn't come back for about 10/15 minutes. After I placed my order, I have waited for 20/30 minutes and he comes to tell me they are just now starting on my order. Didn't even ask if I wanted some more tea. Sounds like Jason and Nicole had very similar experiences, where you order your food and you have to wait 30 minutes for them just to start your food. That is not cool. But what is cool is going to the next Denny's. Ho! We break away from the Flying J's to a standalone Denny's here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This Denny's has a 3.7 rating on 2,375 reviews. Oklahoma City's population is 681,054 people. Your fun fact about Oklahoma City is that Olivia Munn was born there, and she was the host of Attack of the Show on G4 TV, and I, Jeff, loved that show growing up.
All right, now that we have literally seen everything the internet has to offer today, it's time to move on.
So with all of that in mind, let's go read some Denny's reviews. We'll get OKC's Denny started off with Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Placed an online order for a fried chicken salad and chicken strip meal. Paid for avocado to be added to the salad. My salad didn't have any avocado, nor did they provide salad dressing. The size of the salad was enough to fit on a dessert plate / side salad, which tells me they did not give me the amount of salad I paid for. The chicken strip meal only had 9 French fries. No one would answer the phone after calling several times. Do not recommend. I see why this location is always empty. I can't believe they only got 9 French fries. The other 2 photos we've seen in this video had a ton of French fries, then only getting 9. Now that's a ripoff. The next review does have a photo, and it comes from Mike. Chicken undercooked. Macaroni and cheese served till 11 on menu, but denied at 10 by the manager. Slow service. Food sat on counter ready for minutes before brought out. No red potatoes for skillets. Manager and waiter seem focused on their friends instead of serving customers. This place reeks of incompetence. As you can tell from the photo, that chicken is 100% undercooked. You could say Mike felt pretty cheesed by that. Oh no. The next OKC review comes from Chani. Been here well over an hour. Our order never got turned in. Jody has given food to everyone who got here after us. Completely forgot about our table. No refills, no nothing. Ended up just leaving. This is like a social nightmare that I bet a lot of people have. Placing an order at a restaurant and the order never getting placed in, and you're sitting there watching people come in, eat their food, and leave, and you're like, am I a real person? Do I exist still? What's going on here? Then you get up and leave. Now let's read what happened to Michaela. Food was great. The service sucked. We were there a half hour before we even got our food. We even ordered chicken noodle soup to become first. That never showed. And then they told us that they were out of it. The bathrooms are so flippin' cold. The waitress wanted us to do a review. So here it is. I'm really glad the waitress asked Michaela to write a review, or else we wouldn't have had this gem of nonsense. Let's go to the next one. The next review comes from Jay, and my name starts with a J. Since when do zesty nachos come or look like this? Photo on screen. This was disgusting. I tried to give it to my dog, and they looked at me like I was crazy, like, oh, thank you. Like, for real, Dennis, are y'all even trying? This crap doesn't even taste like zesty nachos. It looks like the cook threw up and bagged it. Not to mention many things were missing. No wonder your franchise are going bankrupt. I see a container of chips, I see a container of sour cream, and I see what looks like a container of jalapeno-covered vomit. So yep, Jay's review is 100% accurate. Let's go to the next one. And that review comes from Rosalia. First time coming here, and will be the last time. They were out of a lot of breakfast options. The service was long. The food was cold. One waitress, very horrible, will not be coming back, very disappointed. This truly was a horrible experience because Rosalia only has one review, and it's for this Denny's. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But let's go to the next Denny's. Our next Denny's lives in Rutland, Vermont. This Denny's has the nicest exterior of any of the Denny's so far and has a 4.0 rating on 1,697 reviews. Getting back to the smaller towns, Rutland only has a population of 15,807 people. A fun fact about Rutland is that this site was the outpost of a military road built by British General Sir Geoffrey Amherst in 1759. Wow! So with all of that in mind, let's get into the reviews. And we'll start Vermont off with Johnny. Absolutely disgusting. We travel through Rutland all the time to Bennington to see family and almost always stop at Denny's. Well, tonight was the last time. The amount of fruit flies is unreal, landing all over our food and in our drinks. We brought to the waiter's attention, he shrugged it off. Most of our food went to waste. Disappointing and disgusting. Here's a quick picture I snapped, a dozen fruit flies. And I'll blow that picture up and show it on screen now. You can see those little specks on the wall are those fruit flies. That is pretty disgusting. The next review comes from Jay, the 3-lettered version. Yikes. I have been going to the Rutland Denny's for the last 20 years, and I have watched it slowly evolve into one of the worst establishments in southern Vermont. We decided to give it a final try tonight to see if things may have improved. Alas, it seemed as if the place is close to shutting down for food. We were not greeted at the door for about 5 minutes, then finally brought to a sticky table, where we waited for our wait person about 10 minutes more. Food delivery 2K forever. And the waitstaff never checked back to assure our meals were correct and nothing else was needed. We left and put it on our list of never agains. I don't know about you guys out there, but I really want to see Jay's list of never agains. But for now, we'll read Cindy's review. We had a party of 9 and literally had to wait 1 hour before a server even got our drink order. After my sister went up 3 times to find out when someone would wait on us, the server came up to us, apologized, and said the other server refused to wait on us because he didn't want us seated there. We went to lunch at 12:15 and didn't get out until 3. We ended up getting 25% off, but with that service, our entire bill should have been comped. I will never go there again. Terrible. Can you imagine staying at a Denny's for almost 3 hours? Oh, man. Let's see if Chris got stuck in Denny's purgatory. Waited 15 minutes in the lobby before being addressed. Finally. Got sat down at the bar because I was alone, and I wasn't addressed for another 5 minutes. I walked up and left without even a drink of water. I get that you're busy, but at least address a customer or let them know the estimated wait so they can choose to go somewhere else. Unfortunately, it sounds like Chris was stuck in about a 20-minute purgatory, and he didn't even get a drink of water. I hope he can make it to the next restaurant okay. Fortunately for us, we make it to the next review, and it's from J.S. Closed before 10 p.m. when they're supposed to be open 24 hours every day. The manager said they were short-staffed, but there were at least 4 people there. How many people does it take to serve one person? Hire more people if you are short-staffed. JS makes a lot of assumptions about those 4 staff members, so I'm going to make an assumption too. How about there's no overnight staff to come in and those 4 staff members were like the second shift crew? Possible? I also wish that hiring new people was as easy as just declaring it by yelling outside and being like, I need to hire more people.
I didn't say it, I declared it. Still, it's not anything.
And then just poof, new people appear. Now we know this place isn't actually open 24 hours. Does that affect Katie's review? I wish I could leave 0 stars. Staying in Rutland Sunday through Tuesday for a ski trip, and Denny's is right next to our hotel. Last night, my family of 4 waited at the host station for about 10 minutes. When someone finally came over to seat us, another worker said they would need to hold the door for 10 to 15 minutes. Since someone needed to take a break, so we left to eat somewhere else. We decided to give it a second chance tonight, Monday, since we had a great meal and service a few days before Christmas. We walked in and there was a family of 5 ahead of us, and multiple workers walked right by 9 people at the door without any acknowledgement. The family of 5 said they had been waiting for about 10 minutes without anyone addressing them. It is puzzling that 2 nights in a row Denny's is understaffed, crowded, and literally turning people and money away. If I was to start at Denny's and I've learned anything so far from reading these reviews, it would be acknowledge people the second they walk in the door. Let's see if that trend continues at the next Denny's. Time for us to see how fresh Fresno's Denny's is. Well, unfortunately, it's currently boarded up, but it has a 3.7 rating on 1,790 reviews. A real fast fun fact about Fresno is that it is a word that is derived from the Spanish word for ash tree. So with that in mind, let's go chop into the reviews. Let's get our West Coast experience started with ES. The manager is rude, and you can tell in her face the whole time we was there. She needs to be replaced. Gave her employer a bad attitude when a simple small error was made by accident. We really liked the server and understood her being upset after being treated bad by her boss. Wait a minute, so the manager gave her employer a bad attitude, but the employer was her boss, but it was also the server? I can't compute, my brain takes everything too literally. Oh no, meltdown. Alright, I unplugged myself and plugged myself back in, so we are back to read Chrissy's review. The server, Maggie, said to wash my steak off in the sink because they put a seasoning on I couldn't have. I should have said it in the beginning, and had I have known they already cooked it, I would have said, don't worry about it. But she didn't know I was behind her. She told her cook, Francisco, twice to wash it off in the sink. When I said I don't want it, she turned around and said it was a joke. But none of them were laughing, and she was whispering it. Either way, no apology. Mad at me for saying I didn't want the food after that. Manager didn't even take it seriously or come talk to me after. Not one apology. I will never come back here again. Ew. Alright, Jeff Freaks, I need your help again. Do you think they were gonna wash Chrissy's steak off in the sink or not, or was it just a big funny joke? Ha ha ha. I think they were gonna wash it off, is my opinion. Let me know what you think while we go to the next review. Let's dive into Dominique's review. This experience could have been a lot better. I waited at the entrance for a few minutes until the guy cleaning the seating area came to seat me. After we sat down and ordered, I noticed there were flies everywhere. I ordered cheese sticks, and when I got them, there was no cheese in 3 of them. Was an order of 4. I told the waitress and she brought more to replace them. Of those 4, 2 didn't have cheese, and 1 had the cheese stuck on the outside of the bread. She didn't seem very sorry about it, but I told her just to take it back and I didn't want it. Cleanliness and the smell is something they could work on. The amount of flies attacking my food should be dealt with, and the customer service standards should be looked over again. All in all, not satisfied at all, and will not be coming back.
I am disappointed.
I don't mention the age of the reviews too often unless they're really new, but this one is from 7 years ago and they're talking about flies attacking their food at a different Denny's than the other one with flies. So this isn't a new thing, it happened pre-2020 times. That's kind of shocking. And possibly Dana had a shocking time at Denny's too. Let's find out. I would not visit this hopelessly lost, ill-equipped, rude staff that works there. Hostess never bothered to greet or seat me. Did that myself. As waitress wandered by, she said she'd be back after sending out to-go order. But then went to register and began checking out other guests that had not been there when I came in and seated myself. Still no offer of drink or take my order. Felt ignored. And when I got up to go to the restroom after being there 10 minutes with no service, was asked to leave because left sandals in car, but was wearing moccasins that looked like socks, and tried to show her that she didn't care, and she said she couldn't have me in the restaurant wearing them and asked to leave. Hate to see what the food was like. Couldn't take my order or provide any service at all, but only too happy to ask me to leave.
I will never go back to this Denny's ever again, and neither should anyone else.
I really want to know what these shoes look like. I feel like you would want to wear something with like a hard sole if you're going to eat at a Denny's, because that floor is probably a little bit stanky. Let's see how this California Denny's treated Amanda. We are so
dissatisfied
with management at this place. I suggest looking for someone else to run this restaurant. The cook let my child's burger come out on a moldy bun. One of her plates was chipped, and the food was still served with the chipped glass on it. They are way understaffed, and our poor server was the only one doing anything at this place. We watched her wait on everyone dining while still hosting and dishing out takeout orders. I'd never recommend anyone here. This was not our first bad experience either. Ooh, that's real yummy. You got a moldy bun and you get glass in your food? Sign me up for this, Denny's. And while you're at it, sign me up for Jackie's review. New trainee, Ed, is absolutely rude and provides horrible service. He got all of our orders wrong, even though they were perfectly deceived off the menu, then blamed that we were too drunk for him to understand. We just wanted order corrected, and he got major attitude with us. This review is definitely not helping Jackie's sobriety case. But you know what is? Going to the next Denny's.
Come on, let's go.
The next Denny's is in the Dalles, Oregon. Another standalone Denny's in like the desert part of Oregon, and it has a 3.8 rating on 1,596 reviews. The Dalles has a population of 16,010 people. Your fun fact about the Dalles area is that the Native Americans have been using this area for over 10,000 years for trading, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited areas in all of North America. I never knew that, and I thought that was pretty cool. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some Denny's reviews. We'll get Oregon started with Thelma. Waited 1 minute to be seated. Waited 20 minutes. No drinks or food ordered. Walked out. I like that review. It was short and sweet, and everything started with a W. Wild. Next is Nick's review.
Horrible experience.
Just wanted to go out and get breakfast, but can't do that if you come here. Waited 40 minutes to get my food. And then the food was not what I ordered. I preferred scrambled eggs for my son, and they were black on parts, almost looked like mold. The waitress comes around every 30 minutes. Definitely recommend not to go here if you want a nice breakfast. Definitely a handful of people lined up at front with complaints. Need to tear it down and put an IHOP or something better that has better food and service.
Not coming back.
Black spots on the eggs. I wonder if that was just pepper or was it mold? And the waitress coming around every 30 minutes. How long was Nicholas there with his family? I wish I had like a genie for every video that I could ask like 3 questions about any review I read and get like a 100% truthful answer. But for now, we'll just read Jared's review. Waitresses seated us at a table with sugar ants. No big deal. Stuff happens. We moved ourselves. Ended up being her only table after the others left. It was difficult for her to remember coffee and or come back for our order. Then we laughed when another couple came in and she seated them at the ant table, which she still hadn't cleaned and then forgot to give service to. She was complaining about the cook. The food was excellent. Service sucked. Oh man, I really had to hold back my laughter there, thinking about those people coming in and sitting at a dirty table. Ha 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 ha. Not. But let's go to the next review. And that review comes from Katha. Hopefully that isn't short for catheter. For the first time, I feel so bad eating here. The waiter's service was horrible. He yelled at us, we're Latino, and refused to change our order in a timely manner. The worst part was that everyone noticed and stared at us. Unfortunately, we don't have expert English skills to be able to resolve the situation any other way. But that doesn't mean it's not the way it should be. After all, we're paying for the service. His name is Frank. For not having expert English skills, this was better written than a lot of the reviews written by native English speakers, so I have to give Katha 5 stars for that. The next Denny's review comes from Tina. Worst Denny's ever. Waited an hour for our food and it was burned to a crisp. Bathrooms were filthy, no paper towels, people letting their kids run all over the restaurant, no management in sight. I can't imagine sitting and waiting over an hour for Denny's food and then receiving it all burnt when kids are running around. Oh man, I would just go absolutely crazy. Plus, here's a picture of that slop that Tina ended up getting. Ugh, disgusting. Let's see how sour of a time Cindy had at this Denny's. Walked in at 4:37, got tea and coffee, ordered at the same time. Ordered their new dish, brisket and mac. 4 cups of coffee later, several games on phone. The waitress comes up and asks if we would like menus. We are out of brisket. Time she informed us, 6:06 p.m. Plus we drove there from Trout Lake. We didn't want to eat in Hood River. Lost our family's business for life.
Extremely unsatisfied.
And angry. They should have paid us hourly wage and gas. So if I'm reading this right, they got 4 refills of coffee over that hour-and-a-half period they were sitting there and waiting, and they never asked once where their food was or were told they were out of brisket. Who has that much free time? And where the heck is Trout Lake and Hood River? I don't know what's going on. But what I do know is that you made it to the end of the video, so if you made it this far, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Watch this video on screen now because YouTube thinks you'll like it, and I'm Jeff, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.